my sex education at school was behind the bike sheds.
Sex education is always hard to deliver.
Oh, please cover that up.
Which is why in 2020, the government is overhauling the system and making it compulsory for the first time.
Have we got any condoms?
With new guidelines so that everyone in schools in England will learn the same thing.
Lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, plus.
I had no idea about any of this stuff.
Which begs the question, what on earth have we been teaching our kids up to now?
Masturbation is not covered at school.
Really? Second base is kissing, third base is sex, and fourth base is anal. That's what we got told it was.
So what should be on the syllabus?
As a Catholic, sex should only occur within the context of a marriage between a man and a woman.
I was actually having sex before I started puberty.
Oh, God.
To find out, we've gathered pupils and their parents, some famous and some not, to watch sex ed videos past and present from the UK and beyond.
Did I hear somebody mention the word breast?
That's enough on...
To decide what works...
That's the best video. The strangest, but the best.
And what definitely doesn't.
That was so graphic.
Starting the most frank discussions about sex they've ever had.
For me, there's nothing more enjoyable than going from behind.
I'm not actually listening anymore.
No, good.
In this programme, we'll look at how sex education goes beyond basic biology and deals with having sex itself and all the baggage that comes with it. From top bedroom tips...
The tickly feeling!
...to threatening social stigma...
I'm so ashamed.
From bad advice on STIs...
But does soap and water actually stop gonorrhea? I don't think it does it?
...to a dose of slut-shaming.
What is that supposed to mean? Your vagina falls off after you have sex 7 times?
UK schools are forbidden from promoting sexual activity among young students. So what do people know about the path to having sex for the first time?
So there are 4 bases on the way to nirvana.
First base surely has got to be kissing.
1, kissing.
Obviously, first base being, you know, you get to touch a lil or a breast.
Second base has got to be like fondling a bit of a boob.
2, fondling breasts.
So I'm not sure about what second base is. Is that grabbing the muff?
I've got third base, some sort of masturbation type thing.
3, downstairs.
If there's a third base, I'm struggling because once you've done base 1 and base 2, surely the third base is you're having sex, surely, unless there's a bit of reefing around the arse.
4, full English breakfast.
Me and my friends were talking about this the other day.
My friends and I
were talking about this the other day, and we actually got confused because we thought it was first base is holding hands, second base is kissing, third base is sex, and fourth base is anal. That's what we got told it was.
Shocking.
Nearly 40% of young UK women and 26% of young men think that they didn't lose their virginity at the right time. Films like this British one from the 70s have always encouraged teens not to rush that first sexual experience.
I just don't feel ready, that's all.
Oh, how long have I got to wait?
It's just too quick.
We've been going together 3 months. I mean, how much longer?
This Italian film from 1992 tried its best to represent that special moment when it happens for the first time.
What did she just do to it? Yanked it.
La fine membrana che chiude l'entrata della vagina si apre al passaggio del pene del ragazzo.
You know what a hymen... Do you know what a hymen is?
No.
Well, they were talking about the thin membrane when a girl first has sex is broken.
Oh, right.
La dolcezza e la tenerezza fanno sì che generalmente tutto vada per il meglio, anche se non è facile fare per la prima volta ciò che non si conosce.
They haven't shown any contraception in this, though.
Lo sperma esce dal pene. Questa è l'eiaculazione.
I think that's really nice.
I think it sent a good message, but...
Good point about contraception.
I liked it. I think it's important that people learn what happens when they have sex for the first time. But then again, I think if you're having sex within the context of, like, a married relationship, then you're going to feel a lot safer and a lot more protected.
And secure.
And secure.
According to recent research, the average age of losing your virginity is 17 years and 5 months. The UK age of consent is currently set at 16.
I think it's widely accepted that people are going to have sex possibly before they're 16.
Yeah. I don't think it's that much of a big deal.
You know, there are people your age who are having sex. There are people younger than you having sex.
Ew. That's... What happened to the age of consent?
Well, you know, some people just ignore it.
So I was actually having sex before I started puberty with your mum.
Oh, God.
But yeah, we were 14.
14?
I know. And I'm just saying to you.
Sex
yeah, but
at 14?
Yeah, I know. But we went on to have 3
That's
children.
like me having sex at 14.
Well, that's won't be.
Exactly, I'm
It's
not
not
going
gonna
to
be
do it. I'm
happening,
not that dumb.
No, exactly. I was
You had
dumb.
protection, yeah?
Yeah. But,
Oh, no.
we,
Did Nanny ever find out?
Huh?
Did Nanny find out?
No.
Oh, well, you've just explained yourself.
Yeah,
Good luck with that phone
yeah,
call.
but I'm 41 now, so I'm 3 kids down the line. I don't really think she's going to wag her finger at me, is she?
Why did I sort of have sex at the age of 13?
13?
Yeah, I've never told you that. Because I'd never wanted you to think, oh, well, I'm 13, Dad was 13, so I've no idea how I even felt like I was ready or anywhere near ready, but...
I am shocked.
It is shocking stuff.
You were 13.
I was on my mum's sofa. I remember sort of being on top of her and I had to ask because I thought I was off and running, but I wasn't sure. Something was telling me that something's not right. So I said, am I in? And she was like, no. And I thought, what have I been doing? So basically, I'd been having sex with the crack in between 2 cushions. So out of embarrassment of having sex with a sofa, I didn't touch it again for quite some time.
The sofa or sex?
Both.
What do you say the right time is? Like age? Age. What do you think?
Probably about 30.
30? Are you joking?
For you.
30. I'm not having it 30.
Well, let's just
Have it a
say-
bit younger.
Yeah, about 28.
No, 22.
Like it. Nice. Let's sign a contract.
Okay.
Big on the new sex ed agenda is teaching kids that if they are going to have sex, it's essential that both parties clearly give their consent.
How do you say goodnight?
Don't, please.
Yeah, definitely not like that.
I've learnt if you want to, then go ahead, do it. If you don't want to, say no, because they can't force you to do something that you don't want to do.
Yeah, the school would emphasise the importance of saying no if you feel like that and just not getting yourself into situations that you don't want to be in. But at the same time, I think they assume that nobody's that kind of person to not read the signs.
Consent, I think that's really important because it can happen to anyone, obviously. You know, age, race, gender, it can happen to anyone. So that's, I think, definitely something that people should be educated about.
Sex ed teachers of the past assumed that a boy would always try it on and no respectable girl would accept his advances. So all these films had to do was teach girls how to say no.
Well, what about the problem of boys? Their hands, you know. You get home from a date, and it's still early enough to stay outside for a while to talk. Some talk. Give him half a chance alone, and there's just no stopping him.
You girls seem to think it's always the boy who starts things.
Yeah. Naturally. Why don't we take some cases, starting with yours, Lucy, and show just how you can say no. All right. Tell me, what are you going out for in the track meet next Saturday?
Oh, the relays, I guess.
Oh, how wonderful. Or take the case of the girl who finds herself in this situation.
Say, is anybody else hungry? How about it, you two? Couldn't we go someplace for something to eat?
Oh, yes, definitely. Let's do that.
Well, I think we've cleared the air a bit. And we've outlined some skills in saying no and still keeping your friends.
Yay.
Yes.
That was good.
Everyone wants to be friends with someone who forces themselves on you.
Don't be too preachy. Well, I think there are some good ideas here. What do you think?
It was almost saying tread on eggshells around the guy to an extent. Yes, say no, say firm, but don't be preachy and don't be unfriendly.
I mean, in some ways, I think they had the right idea in as much as talk about things. But I think it was acting like all sort of physical contact between people is...
Yes, it's completely disgraceful and you should never do that.
Post Me Too, so many men are being like, oh, well, I can't, like, flirt with a girl, or, like, I basically can't even, like, look at a woman, and, like, I definitely can't touch a woman, like, because I might get, like, accused of, like, trying to rape her or something. And it's like, no, you can do all of those things as long as you feel it's being reciprocated and you're not...
Yeah, but they had been they had been out on a date.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, you know, they are sitting out on the porch afterwards, and he decides to put his arm around her. What's he supposed to do?
But as soon as she said no, then he was, like, forcing himself upon her.
Yeah, well, that's not on.
So that's not on. As soon as someone said no, that's it.
The thing is, like, a lot of the time, it's not something that's you know, consent is not usually given verbally. Girls don't turn round and say, Bobby, you may now touch me.
Yeah.
I have in the past said, do you mind if I... Don't need to, like, finish the sentence, but do you mind if I... And then, obviously, you get a little yes or no.
Now, self-control is just as important in dating as it is with everything else.
But she was wearing this bikini and I just couldn't help myself.
Today's sex ed teachers have turned to the internet to find better ways of teaching consent. This animation is now used very widely in schools after first appearing in the UK on a police website before going viral.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, hey, would you like a cup of tea? And they go, oh my God, I would love a cup of tea, thank you. Then you can make them a cup of tea, or not, but be aware that they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important bit, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you're entitled to watch them drink it. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? Unconscious people don't want tea, and they can't answer the question, do you want tea? Just put the tea down. Make sure the unconscious person is safe. And this is the important part again. Don't make them drink the tea.
That's a great perspective to make it about something completely different. And you do realise that it is ridiculous to ever expect or go into that situation expecting someone to drink our tea.
Yeah.
It had my class in hysterics.
But it was a really good point, though. You know, when you get drunk, you lose a bit of control.
You do.
And you can very often get sleepy and pass out.
Yeah, remember, unconscious people don't want tea.
So are you telling me that you've never made a cup of tea, but you have had a cup of tea made for you?
Wait.
That complicated?
Yeah.
Well, you've said that girls very often initiate things with you.
No, I'm not some kind of big-time baller or anything. But, yeah.
My little baby.
We're looking at how educators have taught the highs and the lows of getting jiggy with it. UK surveys have shown teenagers think sex education teaching is too negative and too biological, and teachers have always been reluctant to mention that sex can be good fun.
Schools need to do a lot better in terms of how they tell the students, because I had no idea about any of this stuff. I didn't have an orgasm until I was like 23. I thought I was having them. They weren't. That wasn't one. That was acting. Wow. Like, they need to teach you stuff like that.
School never said to us that sex was fun. It was always about the horrors of what could happen. Like, girls, you're gonna bleed. Boys, you could get this girl pregnant, or you could transmit some kind of sexually transmitted disease, you evil person. Yeah, it was never said that if you suck a penis, it could be really enjoyable, or things like that.
The 4 years that you've had sex education, have they ever talked to you about sex being fun and enjoyable?
No.
What has it been about then? Just a sperm and egg?
Purely making babies.
You know, that's really quite sad.
Before the 1970s, most health professionals would only give detailed sexual advice to young couples who were married or engaged, such as tips on sexual positions. Educational bodies made films like this one specifically for inexperienced young married couples.
Normal position, woman lies on back, man's body covers hers.
Permits full range of love play. Kisses may be exchanged as well as hand caresses. Suitable for a woman who reaches climax easily. Okay, easy for you to say.
So that's like...
Okay.
Wow, she looks dead. She dead? She's not dead, is she?
Oh, no.
Oh, that is... Oh. How much is she getting paid?
Hang on a minute. Where's the bloke? Oh, there he is.
He looks dead. Did he kill her? He killed her.
Seated position from behind. Woman sits astride the man with her back to him. Although she cannot use her hands, he can titillate her breasts. Penetration is not too deep, and unless the man arches his body backwards, the male organ has a tendency to slip out.
It's getting more complex as the video goes on.
That's making it sound complex.
Now they're going to show us what that... So that's if she was sitting on top of him.
Oh.
Performance art.
I mean... What?
Well, that's informative, but...
Was it?
Well, I didn't realise that there were a lot of different ways of it happening.
Yeah, yeah. So you can do it more than one different way. It's not obvious what they're doing, is it?
No.
It's like he's... It's like a ballet position, isn't it? You know.
I mean, I certainly had never told that I had to wear an all-black body stocking to have sex.
The description of these moves make it sound like they're ingredients on how to cook a lasagna. It's like, this is love-making, people. Put a little tenderness into it.
Since the 1990s, some educators have shown more explicit positions in sex ed films.
Pois, o pênis dele está duro.
This animation for teens came from the daring Danish and was then dubbed for young audiences worldwide.
Oh my God.
Elas também fazem... É porque gostam mesmo muito um do outro.
That was so graphic.
Yeah.
Do you know about the Kama Sutra?
No.
Oh, wow.
What is it?
It's like it's not a rule book, but it's just a very helpful guide to sexual positions.
Yeah.
There are many. Ones that you wouldn't even think were possible. Serious.
Okay.
Some of my best times sexually have been...
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know what? I must have been about 8 or 9 when I realised that there was more than one position, because I had this giant teddy bear and I have flashbacks of me just straddling him, but then being like, oh, I could go this way. Oh, I could go this way. Oh, I could go this way.
For me, there's nothing more enjoyable than, in brackets, going from behind.
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah, it's all about just holding on, you know, and control it. Well, anyway, so starting to talk technical terms with you, and that's where we stop.
I'm not actually listening anymore.
No, good.
Teaching about the climax to sex has sometimes proved as hard as reaching orgasm itself.
At the orgasm, the semen, containing about 200 or 300 million sperms, is pressed out by pumping muscle movements and deposited in the vagina close to the opening of the cervix.
Oh, that's a lot of sperm.
Did you know what an orgasm was before?
I thought they said organism.
I remember having an orgasm when I was 3. I didn't know it was an orgasm, but I can remember that kind of hot feeling of joy when I went past my preparatory teacher's house. It just was a flood of wet in my vagina.
This 1980s film for primary school kids made a colourful attempt to describe the big moment to the under-12s.
It's called Making Love, because it starts with the man and the woman loving each other.
Sometimes.
It often starts slowly, but gets quicker and quicker as the tickly feeling gets stronger.
The tickly feeling!
Both the tickly parts are being rubbed against each other, like scratching an itch.
Are they cats? What's have cats got to do with it?
All the rubbing up and down that's been going on ends in a lovely explosion, like a tremendous big shiver for both of them.
Goodness.
A spurt of quite thick, sticky stuff comes from the end of the man's penis, and this goes way up inside the woman's vagina.
I can't help feeling they're overrepresenting how much sticky stuff there is.
This sticky stuff is how you and I and all of us started our lives.
It's good that they said that it's pleasurable and that both parties enjoy it. That's helpful.
I think it was probably fairly accurate in saying that it goes rub, 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 whoosh, which is what happens mostly. But I can do without all these animals suddenly appearing. I don't like this method of teaching. I think people should say it much more simply and without animals.
Some films for millennial kids occasionally tried to be more upfront about the pleasures of sex. This award-winning British series from the late noughties ditched the cuddly mummies and daddies for a couple of grubby teenage boys with language to match.
So there we have it, the act of sex.
Or intercourse, making love, shagging, humping, banging, getting laid, fooling around.
It's important to remember that sex can also be fun. And it feels good.
Apparently. 1 and 2 and.
Whoa, me.
Every girl and every boy, when they're adolescent, start to get strange feelings. The boy becomes tumescent.
This is my new favourite song.
It's quite good. I think it's quite good.
Yes, of course. Yes, intercourse.
Obviously, like, the words will stick in your head or whatever, but it's two creepy cartoon characters singing about intercourse. So it's kind of weird.
I don't think I could take advice from that. Why are you going to trust an animated character who has a bag over his head?
Was it a bag? I thought it was his underpants.
I was encouraged by the fact that they were making it funny. They used the different terminology, shagging, humping, whatever. That made us go, phew, we're talking about the same thing. We've got the same language here. And then I was also pleased that they had, that they talked about it can be really nice and it can feel really good. But I was slightly confused by the marching.
Do you reckon it'd be scary to someone?
Yeah, to someone that's younger, maybe.
I got shown that when I was 7, I'd run out the door and not come back.
We're exploring how we've been taught about humping and pumping, past and present.
I've been wanting to rap with you about sex and things like that.
Well, I guess there's not much like it.
Right.
One of the big successes of 21st century sex education is that teen pregnancy rates in the UK have halved in the last 2 decades, as health workers encouraged teens to delay sex until ready and boosted their uptake of contraception.
If I said to you contraception, what would you say?
It's something to do with it.
With it, okay, sex.
Sex, all right, sorry.
And, no, it's okay. We can say these words now.
It.
They just keep on saying condoms, 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 and that you have to be protected.
We talked about condoms last night, didn't we?
We did, yes.
And
I have actually been learning about them at school recently, both in a talk and also whether we think it's the right thing to have to use one. They say you should use a condom because it's easy to use and it's, you know, prevents pregnancies and STDs and STIs and things like that. You're
Belt and
having
braces.
Sex. Yeah. A chastity belt.
Yeah, that would be good.
We have people come in like quite often.
Experts.
I guess they make us put condoms on fake willies. Yeah.
What did you use?
a dildo.
Really? Yeah. Who brings them in?
The experts.
The expert.
Yeah.
Suddenly I want to know what colour they were. I have no idea why that's even relevant.
Yeah, there's a variety.
Oh, good.
Condom, that's
Yeah.
for the protection of the man.
Yeah.
Is there protection of the women?
There was one called the Femidom, but we won't talk about that because...
What's the Femidom?
Let's not go into
Oh,
it.
please,
No one
tell
really...
me.
Well, it was for the woman. And so the woman would use it like a condom. Yeah?
Over a thing?
Well, she wasn't going to put it over, no.
How's she going to do
She puts
that?
it inside her.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it never really caught on.
With just 300 birth control clinics in Britain at the dawn of the 1960s, many women had poor access to contraception. So some educators suggested that they could rustle up their own methods at home.
These are the common methods of contraception.
Postcoital douche. I've been called that in my time.
Homemade barriers and spermicides. These have a place when no other methods are available.
To keep out Jerry. I wonder what a homemade barrier is, like a sandbag.
Looks like a piece of cheese.
Barriers can be made out of cloth, silk or cotton waste, or of various kinds of sponges.
Oh, imagine that.
Spermicides can be made from lemon juice or vinegar, diluted 1 to 20 with boiled warm water. Similarly, clean sweet cooking oil, butter or margarine can be used. Mustard oil cannot be used, nor any strong chemical or soaps.
Christ! What on earth made you think that was a good idea?
What the hell was that?
I'm fairly certain that nobody I knew was going the vinegar route.
What was the margarine for?
Are they just giving you all these ingredients like you're making a cake and they don't tell you how to make it?
Here's one I made earlier. Hold on, dear. I'm just going to the kitchen to grab some butter. While you're there, make us a sandwich.
I didn't know there's such a thing as sweet cooking oil. Although maybe that's just what you... That's probably just what the woman says when you flush her full of lemon juice. Sweet cooking oil, what are you doing?
I don't think that these are very effective ways of contraception. I think that a lot of unexpected babies were born during the 1960s.
Unexpected pregnancies. Yeah.
Oh no, what a shock. I shoved vinegar up my vagina and now I'm pregnant.
You do realise that none of that would actually work, don't you? You can't be going to the kitchen and doing that. You know, you can go to the doctors, you can go to clinics, you can go to the chemist. Any of them places will give you things that aren't butter, okay? and aren't oil or bits of cloth. They will have all the right things that you need there.
In the liberated 1970s, some educators launched more comical campaigns, encouraging hairy hippies to exercise responsibility alongside free love.
Hold it a minute.
What?
I think there are a few facts that you should know.
What was that?
Did you know that in 1969 there were 10,000 legal abortions? Did you know that 1 in every 3 happy teenage brides is pregnant?
It's difficult, isn't it, this? Because I don't know whether he's so desperate to have sex or just so desperate not to have a child. That's why he's running. So, she knows. Oh, dear.
Can I help you?
That is just hilarious.
You can't ask a female assistant for male contraceptives.
I mean, and then they chose like the most random, a really hairy, bushy,
really man's
Neanderthal. It's like I work in a chemist, but I have a very big beard.
Of course, you don't have to go through this performance. With a little forethought and a visit to your local family planning clinic, you'd have no need to make an abortion of it.
Oh, God. No.
I don't know where to start with that, to be honest.
I mean, they don't do the bit in the chemist where you either buy 6 other items to try and disguise what you've bought, or you have to ask someone. That's what I remember, is that they weren't always out on display. You had to ask, have we got any condoms? Have we got any condoms? Janet, this bloke wants condoms. But there's the amount of stuff that I bought unnecessarily, because I was embarrassed about buying condoms, I could probably start my own chemist.
All my life, it's always felt like it was the woman's responsibility. You know, you wouldn't necessarily trust a guy. He's not the one who gets pregnant or whatever else. But contraception was definitely, the onus was definitely on the woman.
Whose responsibility do you think contraception is?
Definitely the man.
I'm going to say...
He's got to impregnate that girl.
Well...
So he should be, like, the one wary of what he's putting into her body.
A lot of girls get, like, a bad stigma. If a girl carries a condom, then they're like, oh, my God, why is a girl carrying a condom?
No, but they don't have Williams.
Yeah, but the person they're going to meet has got a William, you know what I mean?
If the educators' main message in the 70s was that condoms would prevent an unwanted baby, the modern message is the double whammy. They protect against pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections.
If they're out there dipping the wick, there's not a lot I can do about it, so long as I know they've got condoms in the pocket. I'll start asking about you. Make sure you don't end up with drippy dick.
In the latest figures, over 420,000 cases of STIs were diagnosed in England in 2017, with the highest rates among 16 to 24-year-olds.
This is the end of a penis and it's got lots of warts on it.
Sexually transmitted infections mentioned at the Oxford High School? Impossible. Impossible. I've never heard of such a thing. Unthinkable.
And you said they cover every STI, pretty much now.
The
Have you
most
seen
common.
photos and everything?
Yeah, we saw photos.
I remember a friend of mine was at a school where the teacher had gone around saying, look at this is herpes. Because she had herpes. I don't know whether she got it specifically to be able to show them what it was, or whether it was just a happy coincidence.
There was nothing at school, but then the government were telling us about HIV, and it was so conflicting. Sex became really terrifying.
This 1970s American film used state-of-the-art special effects to get its tear-jerking message across.
Gonorrhea can cause a blockage that stops the passage of sperm. This means the man will be sterile. His son may never be born.
Oh.
In the female, untreated gonorrhea may damage the reproductive system. This could prevent her from ever having a baby. After sexual contact, the male may get rid of germs by washing the genital area with soap and water.
I don't know about that.
Soap and water kill the germs and wash them away.
I wish.
So does soap and water actually stop gonorrhea? I don't think it does it? No. Bad advice.
We're looking at the good and the bad.
Withdrawal. It's cheap. In fact, it costs nothing.
In sex education from across the decades and around the world.
Olá, eu sou o doutor.
Parents can withdraw their kids from sex education if they wish, often for religious reasons. But under the new guidance, a child of 15 can choose to opt into sex ed, even if their parents disagree.
So I've considered taking Isabella out of sex ed, but I don't think it would be fair to her, actually. What I don't want to do is to ostracise Isabella or have her singled out.
I did have a consent form that they sent home when they were doing sex ed. And I'm like, Mom, you have to sign this form. And she's like, what's it about? And I'm like, sex. And she's like, sex? Don't be stupid. And she looked at it, she's like, you're not doing no sex.
Different religious institutions have produced their own sex education resources, like this Christian animation from the 1980s.
God is happy when two people decide to get married and start their life together with His blessing.
He made a husband and wife for living together and showing their love to each other all their life.
Ha, that's a lie. Husband and wife don't love each other.
Excuse me, I'm told your daddy said that we love each other.
God made their bodies so they fit together in a wonderful way.
At one of those special love times, the sperm from the man's body can go into the woman's body.
Love times. That's lovely.
That's how God planned it. Both mother and father have a part in making the baby, but God has the biggest part.
Yeah, I don't think you should believe that, to be honest, but whatever. Yeah, each to their own.
I think kids will take away from that it can only be a man and a woman and only their bodies fit together, and God says this is the only way that it should be, and which is absolutely not the case.
As a Catholic, obviously, we have a very specific point of view about sex, and that's that sex is really great and wonderful, but it should only occur within the context of a marriage between a man and a woman.
My Muslim upbringing has affected you in that I encourage you to be like, this is this thing that we do when we're in a very serious, it's a serious thing in a serious relationship with this person that you're serious about, you know.
What would you do if you're in a relationship for like a year, but it's not very serious?
No, not
So
unless
you
you're
don't.
serious. No, not unless it's a serious relationship.
We talk about sex
We do,
outside of marriage,
yes.
don't we? What have we said about?
Generally, I think it's not a good thing to do. Is that what we've said, pretty much?
But I haven't told, you know...
You've not forced it onto me, like the opinion.
And I have said to you, haven't I, that, you know, if you change your mind, you know, that I would support you.
Do you think God had a part to play in creating you?
A bit. Because, like, two people I meet, it's like...
Two people meeting could be Tinder. You know what I mean?
In the 1970s, some British educational films still discouraged sex before marriage. But there was less emphasis on religion and more on social stigma. This film told the story of a teenage girl having to give up her illegitimate child.
Brenda was just 17. Everyone liked her, and she had a promising life before her. She'd just fallen heavily for a new boyfriend. It was one of those thrilling affairs that make everything seem like a glorious dream. How would he greet her news? She was going to have a baby.
Oh dear. Just from standing under a tree.
They must plan to run away and get married very soon. He would arrange everything. He would telephone her tomorrow night at 8 o'clock without fail.
Hello? Get out of Gary's life, you little...
Oh!
This is Gary's mother. I found out all about you. Gary's already engaged to a nice girl. They're going to get married.
You little... I like that she dresses up to call people on the phone.
He's promised me he'll never see you again. If you dare to try and contact him, I'll put the police onto you.
On what charge?
In one unthinking moment, Brenda had spoiled two lives, her own and her child's. Don't you think that it's wiser to wait for that real love affair that's there in the future for you? So, don't be like Brenda.
Blimey. That's quite rough, isn't it?
Don't be like Brenda. Brenda's a queen. Brenda met Gary. Gary screwed her over. Gary needs locking up. Lock up, Gary. I'm Team Brenda in this whole thing. I'm gonna make a T-shirt. Team Brenda.
Yeah, pretty harsh on old Bren there. But there are other options, I think. She could let her mother take care of the baby and pretend that she's the oldest sister. You know, that's the 70s, right? They used to do that sort of thing. But, you know, upside for Brenda, it was a golden age of disco.
Back then, if you had a baby and you weren't married, you were seen as a really terrible person.
Oh.
The fact that you're shocked by that shows that it was shocking. It's this whole horrible thing that, yeah, she's got to give the baby away to be brought up by other people, whereas actually babies do much, much better with their mothers.
They do.
I just think it's awful and abhorrent.
I don't like that video. They should not show that. They should burn it, never show it to anyone, unless it's a dude called Gary, to find his whereabouts so we can lock him up.
Next time, we look at what sex ed of the past is considered to be normal.
Women are made to have babies and to care for them. Men are different. They are often better at giving birth to new ideas.
And how it has handled diversity and difference. From the size of women's breasts...
Oh, tall and plump, delightful.
I'm not going into that shop.
...to pornography...
I was surfing the net last night. Some things came up that made me feel really lousy.
I check your history, Harry.
...to sex and race.
Go on, girl, speak up. I'm pregnant, I'm not married, and the baby's going to be black. Mandy!
That was terrible.
That was just awful.